Welcome back to Weems Motor Co. Today we are back in the shop and we're gonna knock out a super sweet art project. Stick around. Alright, so as many of you guys know that we're right in the middle of our Born Free 13 build, and there's a lot of little projects, a lot of little things that go into building a show bike, and a lot of those things end up being little meticulous little small things that take up a lot of time and are pretty difficult when it comes to designing and machining. As you see right here behind me, we got the new tool, the new old tool, the 1947 South Bend 13-inch lathe. It's got a 5-foot bed. Man, it's been amazing to do some of those projects. Some of those projects, like this super sweet little generator. Now this generator is what's going to be powering the lights on the Born Free 13 build. We're not going to get into those because that's kind of like a trade secret on that little part, and a lot of people are really interested, so maybe I might start producing those. Who knows? We'll see. We'll stick around and find out what's going on with it. Maybe, possibly, we'll see what's up. But today the art project is something that I've always wanted to do. Now on the Triumph motors, there have always been a lot of questions. Is like, well, how does that work? You know, things like oil pumps and cam chains, and well, there's no cam chains in a Triumph motor. There's push rod motors, so there's cam gears. And I wanted to be able to take this build to the next level and show as many of those mechanical moving parts as possible. So today we're going to look at possibly uncovering and exposing the internals of the timing chest on a Triumph motor. Now the Triumph timing cover covers those gears, and those gears, there's nothing really kind of, to me, special about them. However, there's some modifications that can be done to make those internal parts look cool. There's some aftermarket racing parts. There's a lot of stuff like that. So that's the plan today, is to take a timing cover, machine it open, and put a window over the cover, exposing those cam gears, the oil pump, and all of those really cool little neat moving parts that are back there. So let's see if we can make it happen. Who knows? Maybe I'll screw up a timing cover. It's all part of building show bikes. Alright, so you might be asking yourself, well, if you're going to modify it, what does the original look like, and what's the idea of exposing all of these cool parts? So these two motors behind you, the one being right there, that's the motor out of Rusty. You've probably seen that video where we pulled that bike out of the barn. If you haven't watched it, jump back, check out that video. Super cool. That motor is actually going to be the motor that we use in the Born Free build. Kind of crazy to think we could take something so crusty, so rusty, and so old and make it into an amazing show bike, but that's what that's going to be used for. So make sure you check out that video. Also, while we're here at this point, man, we got merchandise in the store. It's stacked up. If you're looking for hats, stickers, t-shirts, we have all of that stuff. Go to our website, weemsmotorco.com. Grab you some super cool swag. Support the channel. If you're not a patron yet, man, go over and join us on Patreon. Those guys get to see all of these videos before anybody else does. They also get the secret behind the scenes stuff, kind of like the stuff that you're going to see today on this video. So if you want to support us, you want to see what's going on in the background, go join our Patreon. It's super cool, super fun. You get free swag, stickers, all that stuff. So support us. Yeah. So these two motors back here, they're going to be something that we use as examples today. So let's go ahead and take a really close look at Rusty. You're going to see a lot of rust, a lot of grime and stuff in that bike, but it's going to give you a great idea of what internals of the timing chest look like on a pre-unit motor. Let's go look at it. Alright, so as you see, there's a lot of gears, there's a lot of mechanisms, there's a lot of moving parts that happen inside of a Triumph pre-unit motor. So these two top gears, these are your timing gears. All of this is actually your timing chest. However, this is the gear for your exhaust cam and the gear for your intake cam. Coming off the intake cam, you have your oil pump, then you have your little pinion gear, and then you have your crankshaft pinion gear. Now this little mechanism up here, this is your magneto gear that has an auto advance. It works on springs and centrifugal force. It's set so that you can adjust the timing throughout the power band on starting the motorcycle easier. That's a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of cool little moving things in here, and I've always been intrigued by those timing chests. And I said, how cool would it be to let everybody else see what's behind that cover? Now, on a regular cover, we're going to look at this motor here. So this is a 1957 Triumph Trophy motor, and this is what the typical cover looks like. There's like not a whole lot there. This one is a little special. It has a tachometer drive gear at the front, but you're not able to see all of those really cool moving gears. Now, if you are a Triumph person, you're like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Timing gears are behind there. What are you going to do to make it special inside there? Well, I have purchased an original OG modified set of racing cam gears that I'm going to be putting inside this motor, and I thought, well, if I just throw it behind a cover, how is that cool? You know, people doesn't know that that's inside there, so I wanted to be able to show people what I've put inside that motor. Along with that, I'm going to be putting a racing Morgo oil pump in it. It's a great high output oil pump, but the timing gears is what's really cool because I like old race parts. Nobody knows it, nobody loves it better than this guy, and that's what I've acquired. I've acquired a set of drilled, beveled, and lightened cam gears and pinion gear for this bike, and I wanted to be able to show everyone at Born Free what's inside that motor. So this is the gears. So as you can see in comparison, all of these gears have been drilled with holes, and they've actually reduced the width of the gears to alleviate some of the friction that happens inside the motor. Now this is an aluminum solid magneto gear that we're going to be putting in a motor. So there's a lot of cool moving parts compared to, you know, the solid gears that are a little bit heavier and weighted. So the plan is to take one of those solid covers like this, just like this cover where you cannot see behind it, and what the plan is we're going to machine a window, an opening in the side of the motor somewhere in this vicinity here, so that you could see that magneto gear, that you could see the oil pump working, and you could see that drilled, beveled, and lightened intake cam gear. Now, yes, if you're a Triumph purist, you're probably going to hate this, that I'm going to be machining a big hole in the stock cover. This is a show bike. It's for a purpose, and that purpose is to look really cool. So please forgive me, Triumph purist guys. I'm a Triumph purist. I'm just in a different situation. So you might be saying, all right, machine a hole through it. Okay, that's great. There's still a lot of oil that moves around inside there, and what are you going to do to keep all that oil from splattering on the outside of the window? Well, I have a good friend. His name is Dave. He owns Plastics America. It's a shop here in Florida, and he does all kinds of plastics manufacturing, molding, all kinds of crazy stuff. So I talked to Dave and I said, hey, this is my idea. This is what I'm wanting to do. Is it possible? And the first question that comes up when asking that, he's like, well, how hot does that motor actually get? Does that cover actually get? So I took Dad's bike out for a long ride, and I brought it back, let it sit running without any wind blowing on it or anything like that. I just wanted to get that motor real nice and hot to see what the actual running temperature of that timing cover is. And believe it or not, it didn't exceed 90, 95 degrees, which is pretty amazing to me. I thought it would be a little bit warmer to that. But there also is oil galleys that run through that timing cover that possibly are keeping it running cooler. So I was like, hey, that's awesome. The point being in that is because the material that I want to use, being a clear so I can make a window, was going to have to be acrylic. Now acrylic has a melting temperature. Obviously, being plastic, it's gonna melt if it gets too hot. So the point is to find out, you know, at what temperature does it melt, or does it is able to be molded. So I talked to Dave, and Dave told me, you know, hey, as long as you're not exceeding like 180 degrees, you're gonna be perfectly fine. It's not gonna melt off the side of the motor, and you're still gonna be able to mold it. Temperature being between 300 and 400 degrees Fahrenheit to be able to mold that plastic to the outside shape of the cover. Okay, so I have a great idea, can be done, because we're in the temperature limits. So the actual process of doing it is going to be the experiment. We'll see if it works. I've taken a cover, I've bolted it down to a piece of 3/4 inch thick coated MDF. The cover is screwed down, and then I took another piece of 1/2 inch OCB board and cut out a surrounding portion of the board. The point being is we're going to take a piece of acrylic, and I have some test pieces. I've got between 1/8 inch and 1/4 inch thick. Not sure which one I'm going to use yet, but we're going to take this thing and we're going to take and cut out a piece of the plastic, drape it over that, place it in the oven. Yeah, my wife's not home today, but from what Dave's told me, is it doesn't smell, it doesn't create any, you know, obtruse odors or anything like that. We're going to let it mold over the top of that cover, and we're going to be able to trace out where we want to be able to cut out that hole to create the window to see inside the motor. Let's test it out, see what happens. All else, I wasted time and I wasted some acrylic, but fingers crossed, we're going to make it happen. All right. I know. So many people keep asking, where's AJ? Where's AJ? He's always like in the background doing things like dogs do, and he's my good buddy. Come here, AJ. Yeah, what's up? We're going to cut some of that acrylic to shape so we can work on it and throw it in the oven and get it baked up. So I just wanted to make sure you guys seen AJ. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Who's your good doggy? Who's your good doggy? Yeah, he's a good shop dog. So in order to save wasting material and just do some test pieces, we're not going to be molding the full cover because I don't want to expose the whole cover. There's other things that I would have to address, some oil ways and stuff like that. So just exposing that left-hand portion of it, we are cutting some small pieces of acrylic just to use as test pieces. Man, if it comes out right the first time, I'm just going to use the test pieces. So let's check it out. Let's see what happens. All right, so here we are in the kitchen. Got the oven preheated to 300 degrees. Gonna toss this in, and Dave says just kind of keep an eye on it. Once it gets up to temperature, starts to feel flexible, that's when you want to pull it out, press down the mold and see if it forms. He says then you blow on it really hard, like it's a test. Find out.
But if we survive, I know we'll come out strong.
Alright, so that kind of proves the point that it can be done. Now, perfecting the technique is probably going to take a little bit of trial and error, a few more pieces of acrylic, but you guys kind of get the idea of what I'm doing, right? Well, we're going to wrap it up here on this video. Once again, thank you to our patrons. You guys are awesome for supporting and making these videos happen. If you enjoyed the video, man, I really hope that you would subscribe to us. If you haven't, jump down, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, hit that thumbs up, turn those notifications on, and let everyone know what's going on right here at Weems Motor Co. Peace.
We do what we want, but when I'm free, with our hearts on hyperdrive.